All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Orange County Funding Corporation Finance Committee meeting. Let's call the meeting to order.
Yes, September 18th, and I will start with a roll call. Mark Green.
Present.
Jeffrey Chris.
Here.
Dean Tambury.
Here.
Linda Muller.
Here.
All four committee members are present. Staff-wise, Bill Fioravanti, myself, Kelly Riley, we are present. Mr. Jose Rojas from Acquisitions Marketing doing our AV. And we have a guest, Ms. Lisa Coughlin from Anshin, the state monitor, and several.
Fantastic. Proof of notice has been
It is in your, page 2 shows the proof of adequate notice.
Fantastic. All right, first item, let's approval of minutes from August 14th. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Also moved.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Fantastic. Any discussion on those minutes? All right, hearing no one saying they wanted a discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Fantastic.
Motion carries.
Motion carries.
Excellent.
All right, let's get to new business. Approval of the August 2024 financials. Bill, I think you'll step in.
Yes,
and take care of
Shannon
this.
Manisi is not available this evening, so I will cover our financial reports. I'm going to page 5 of our packet. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. All have the same page 5.
Yep.
Our income statement, terrific. Okay, looking at the August columns there, actual and budget. I'm going down the actual for August 2024. First, under income, we've got $133.33. That's just interest income. So that is the total amount of income for the month. And then jumping down into expenses. First of all, the $9,700 is our management fee. You'll see that on the following pages. Next, at $320 is a bookkeeping charge. And the $402.23, that's insurance. So administrative cost of $10,485.97. And then jumping down under nothing under agency support expenses, but jumping down to payroll expenses. Actually, no, I'm down to legal. $547.50 is for legal. Those are all the expenses for OCFC for August. A total expense line of $11,033.47. Net operating income of negative $10,900.14. That is our profit and loss for August 24. Next, we will be looking at page 6, looking at our cash and equivalents. You see we've got 2 T-bills with JP Morgan, a 6-month at just shy of $550,000, and a 9-month just shy of $600,000, and a 12-month CD with Lakeland Bank for $600,000, and in the checking account, $113,897, and adding in with the CDs and T-bills, total in OCFC of $1,862,984. That's that. The next page 7. That's our transaction list by vendor, so that's everything since our last meeting. You're seeing those totals there as well. And the page that follows on page 8, that's the management fee, just the breakdown of shared expenses between the 2 agencies and our reconciliation for that. Besides our budget, those are the August financials. Any questions?
I'm good. You want a motion?
Sure.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
You have something first, Mark?
Nope, all good. So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? None?
Great, motion
Good to
carries.
go.
Excellent. Terrific. Okay, before we get to the budget, we're going to talk about the CD. Is that okay? Talk about it now?
I mean, as far as payables go, that was.
Oh, yeah, payables, I'm
those,
sorry.
Or Kelly.
I didn't go item by item. There were 3 of them. Bousquet Holstein, which IDA for the management fee and RBT for.
Okay, are we good on the payables?
Yep. I think you called them out just on the page, so
Yeah,
it's pretty simple.
We just want to do a separate one for the payables?
we can do that, sure.
Why don't we do that? Are we, can I
I'm
get?
gonna make a motion for the payroll.
Thank you. Second, thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Carries.
Very good.
Who did the second?
That was
Who
Dean.
did the second, Dean?
Dean. Okay, CD,
All right, so,
big news today?
yeah, a little disappointed, quite honestly. So, back to page 6 for everyone, please. And then also, there's a handout. You got it. Do you see the handout? We got the pricing. This is frankly already obsolete, because today the Fed cut rates 50 basis points. They've also indicated a cut of 100 basis points in the next probably 6 to 9 months. Again, personally, I'm a little disappointed. I don't think the economy is doing that well, but this was not unexpected, being the final Fed before the election. So I think we need to maybe look at this a little differently. You know, we've been very lucky the last year and a half or so. I think now we need to incorporate the time value of money and realize that there will be future cuts. So we might need to consider extending out this. You know, we have a CD coming due in 2 days or 1 day, tomorrow. And so if we're looking at the rates that were given to us in the last couple of days, right?
Yeah, except for the treasury rate, he gave that to me today,
What time today?
this morning.
Fair enough. So the treasury rate was this morning. I am hoping that it's already, I know they baked in a 1/4 point. So I'm hoping that these aren't going to be egregiously different. So.
Could be 25 basis points lower, you think, potentially?
Yeah,
Vicinity.
I mean, I'm hoping that they already baked in 25, so I'm hoping it only will be affected by 25.
Mhm.
But, yeah, as we can see, the treasury rate is the way to go. I also, looking at this, the difference between the 3-month and the 6-month is negligible. So, I am 90% confident that there will be more rate cuts coming. So if we do 3-month, realize that the rate we get in 3 months might be dramatically different than where we are now. So I just put that out there for discussion, that we might need to look for some longer term things to try and lock in some of these rates.
Take advantage of the rates that we have in front of us. What about the 1 year from JP Morgan?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if I'm ready to bite that bullet,
Yeah,
but it is. It's something to talk about, and something that we need to think about and say, all right, let's also take a step back. We also need to factor in that when this CD comes due, it should be worth roughly 500, and we'll have 550. Let's call it 556, 557,000. For the first time in a long time, we're going to, you know, not to be discussed really in this meeting, but we do have some things that are coming to our attention that might need our attention in the next 3 months. So we might not just simply roll this over the 550,000. You know, we have, again, discussions coming up later. So in theory, I would say with a checking account of roughly 114,000, I would say the rollover amount would be, closer to 450,000. And we take that 100,000, put it in checking for our needs. And that should give us, more than enough padding if we do decide to make decisions later. If at the end of today, we don't need that money, then we can always take that 100,000 and put it into a shorter term CD or something to continue to gain interest on it. So there are a number of different factors here that I don't know if I've explained very well.
Yeah, you did.
You're agreeing I didn't explain it very well?
I'm agreeing you did a good job. Oh, my goodness.
Do you want this job or not?
No, I don't, you keep going, you're just doing fine.
So, so one of the things that we need to kind of agree upon, do we agree that we should take the 100,000, put it in checking for potential decisions we need to make later, so that would give us 450,000. Now the decision comes, do we say we take that 450,000 and, you know, put it in a 6, 9, or even 1 year? That is the question that I'll pose to you guys. Do you have any opinions?
Well, I think taking the 100,000 out is prudent. Not knowing where the market is gonna go next year. We have a guaranteed rate for a year. That's not terrible. It's on par with the 6-month rate, and, I mean, there's safety in that year.
There is, and I will ask Kelly, and I'm saying this facetiously. Are we sure this isn't a typo?
I can go back and check, but.
Well, you're gonna have to,
He gave
because-
me that rate on Monday,
The 4.46.
yes.
All right, just
I will
because of
double
this,
check
yeah.
that,
I mean,
though.
it's so much higher. So
So it is frustrating that the Fed happened to make these cuts today on the day of our meeting, so.
it's
numbers-
called life, Bill.
It
You
is,
know,
but
it's
these numbers could all
absolutely-
be blown up, is what I'm saying. They may not
Absolutely.
be anywhere,
Absolutely.
I would suggest that we need to verify what the number
Oh, yeah,
is
for
sure.
today,
Yeah.
and that.
I just think it makes it hard. What we've often done is you'll steer us towards one and saying, take the highest rate that's available at that time, you know. Whereas now, you may choose one and the third one down may be the higher one tomorrow. I don't know, but, you know, we'll have to figure out a way forward regardless.
Go ahead.
Is, the 100,000 enough to hold out?
Yeah, because, you know, it would,
That's outside of what's set aside, right? The 100,000 is just for
I was gonna ask the same
cash
question.
flow?
I was gonna ask the same question, just because, I mean, we don't know if we have other items coming, you know, that may arrive or come up between now and I guess the next one would be,
January, so it would only have to last us 3
To
months.
January.
And
Okay.
there's nothing that's been on the horizon,
okay.
so I would be
Everybody's comfortable with
surprised.
that,
That's what
then
we figured.
fine.
So it
We
is a
need-
typo, it's 3.46.
Ah.
Good catch,
Took all
folks.
the fun out of it, Kelly.
Debbie
You just
Downer.
blew him up, he was so excited. He was so excited.
Where'd we go?
Apologies.
Top right, then 3.46 instead of 4.46. That was nice while we had it.
What was do we know what the 6-month is on the treasury?
The 6 month, well,
Is it still, it's holding at 4.64?
Well,
As of
I got
yesterday, these are all correct. That
I
was
got
it.
that's
that,
this
I got
morning.
those numbers
This morning,
this
right.
morning from Andrew.
But before the rate cut, of course.
And I got the numbers from TD Bank this morning also.
If Mark's theory is right, then they baked in 25 basis points already, and then they would go down by another 25 basis points, roughly.
you're just itching to prove me wrong.
No, I think it's as sound a theory as any.
Yeah, I know, opinions and belly buttons. right?
Yep, exactly.
So then the question becomes, do we lock our money up when, you know, if we did the 6 month, let's say, then in theory, in 6 months, for us to have made a quote-unquote wrong decision, the CD rate would have to be, hold on 1 second. Would have to be, would have to be at 3.36 for us to have made a wrong decision. So, you
It's
know,
gonna go down. I mean, we know we're not gonna have these numbers.
it is going to go down.
Oh, so-
What I'm trying to say is that if we do the 6 month and maximize the price now, that if in 6 months, the CD rates are below 3.36, then we should have considered going a little longer. Actually-
I think we should go longer.
Well, no, so now let's say we do a 9 month at 4%. Right? Because you're saying you wanna go longer.
Mhm.
Then for us to lose money, the CD rates would have to be below 3%. Which you know, is debatable. I mean, you know, we're kind of splitting hairs.
Mhm.
So if you want to do a 9-month at 4%,
I do.
okay,
But so, but I mean, I
Yeah.
remember arguing over it was 2.2%,
Yeah.
2.12, whatever. I mean, all that we've had so far, I think is fantastic. You know, we knew it was gonna come to an end eventually, here we are,
okay,
so.
fair
I
enough.
mean,
What do you
know,
think?
I'm on the 6 month at 4.64.
All right, so
I like this.
he's gambling a little
Should
bit
we
more?
put- Should we put it on a paper?
No, how about you?
I just wanna clarify that on the 1 year, there's a 1 percentage point difference, that we know that is 3.46, not 4.46.
No, that is 3.46.
This is where we are.
Yeah,
now.
that, you should scribble that out,
That's
there,
what-
that is not existing.
Well, you know, it's a negligible amount of interest between the 6-month and the 9-month. Me, I sometimes like to play things safe, and I would go the 9-month.
Okay,
Yes.
so. Yeah, Jeff, let me ask you a question. Is this a hill you're willing to argue over, or what do you think?
Well, I would just point out the 6 month, you only lose a little bit. The 9 month, the day we make that commitment, instead of getting 6.64 or 4.64,
One second.
you're losing
Give me 1 second. I'll get it
that
for you.
0.75% almost in the first 6 months. So, and maybe that's what you were calculating, how low it has to be in the third quarter, the last 3 months. I don't think it's a big deal, and clearly rates are going down more.
All depends. I just
Well,
think
there's,
it all depends.
Mhm.
'Cause We're
Yeah, you're not
playing a
right.
game based on where we think the election is gonna be.
Okay, just so we understand what we're quibbling about, we're quibbling about roughly $800.
okay.
You know, so really, I think it comes down to, do we think rates are going down? I think we could all agree that it's gonna happen. The Fed's already said that their goal is to
It's
do
gonna go
that.
down for a while. It just,
Yes.
again, it depends on where the election lies, and so I think we can't make a decision right today. We can't make a decision now we don't know what the election's gonna happen.
Well, we do have to.
I know
make
we do,
decisions.
that's what I'm saying.
So-
I'm
And
still,
we just don't have,
I'm
future,
still feeling really comfortable about 4% at 9 months.
Yeah,
That's-
so.
Okay,
I guess
I'm good with that.
The difference is rather negligible.
Yeah,
When you,
okay,
when you do,
I got it.
when we kind of go around and
Mhm.
figure it out. So if they feel strongly about it, I'm
they're
fine.
gonna
with
waste $800.
it. Well,
Good, good.
Or which
We
way is that
can.
$800
It's
swing?
possible.
well, we can all put $1 in the middle, and then whoever's right, we can do it. So I say
I vote
we,
for 9 months.
then let's do the 9 months at 4%. 100,000 comes out,
Mhm.
So you want it for,
so do a,
450?
so do a 450 or
Approximately
453 or whatever it
Treasury.
is, because it's a treasury, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I always, I'm the worst at
Yeah,
putting this up for,
it's, yeah, no, it's harder to,
Yeah.
but now we have to put it in words, right? We
Right.
That's all.
Went to
So now we
college.
gotta put it in words.
Now put it in words.
So can we break it up? Can I take a vote that we are going to take 100,000 and put it into our checking account for potential
Sure.
opportunities and vote on that?
Mhm.
Yes.
It's a good
Okay,
idea.
all right.
Separate.
So, can I get a motion to, when this rolls tomorrow, to take $100,000 out and put it in checking for future immediate considerations?
Is there gonna be any penalties if we withdraw it before the maturity date in January?
Well, there would be,
We're talking about the one mature tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
if we're talking about the one maturing tomorrow,
You know, we're not looking to take it prematurely.
Which one?
The 19.
the very top
Oh, I'm
one.
looking at the wrong
I-
one.
I-
I apologize.
No,
I'm
that's
looking
okay.
at the wrong one. Yep,
Then
okay.
I did it, when it first looked, I did the same, I did the
No
same
worries, got it.
thing. I
Yeah,
did the
okay.
same thing.
Yes,
All right, so a motion that when the CD rolls tomorrow, we take 100,000 and put it in our
Yes.
roughly 100,000, whatever the balance is between rolling over roughly 450,000 into the CD. Can I have a motion for that?
I think Linda made it, I'll second.
Fantastic. Any discussions on that part of it?
I think it's-
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Got it.
So we're good on that, right?
Very good. Step
All
two.
right. Step two, do we, can I get a motion to invest 450,000 plus rounding error into the JP Morgan Treasury rate of 9 months at 4% if we can still get that number?
Could we make it without a specific number, just the difference between the 100,000 that we're gonna take and whatever the balance is?
Sure.
Because if we say something else, then
Sure.
we get ourselves in trouble.
Sounds like a plan. So let me try and rephrase this again. How do we account for possibly tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question, because
That was my
So
concern.
I think Andrew sent me a note saying that it's approximately 463,000 that we'll be getting,
Okay,
if that helps out at all.
that does help.
560?
For
Does Andrew have, can Andrew
For 560.
can Andrew give you an update on the 9 month?
I'm not sure.
Now that,
No, he's
Yeah.
not gonna, he won't do
I know.
that. But I
Make a
understand,
dream.
but I think we can still get to the motion, it's, you know, with.
Because you want to be able to take action tomorrow.
Exactly.
yeah,
I don't know, I could frame the motion with some flexibility based on the new rates.
But you have to, because
You have
otherwise
to,
that's
yeah.
not only going down. So it would be at the best rate that we have.
Yeah, wouldn't it have to be something like that?
yeah.
That's
All
right,
right,
it's
so,
You can set the
She
term.
said it's
That's a ton.
approximately 563K.
right, that's, yeah, I mean, that's,
And if all the numbers sort of slide comparatively, then I would think we'd still go with the 9 month.
Yes.
Right.
yeah, I would agree.
So if we can use that mentality, so
All right,
Bill
let's,
and you or Bill and myself can finalize if there's some adjustment or confirm.
all right, so then let's say, can I get a motion to invest the rollover amount that we've discussed, minus the money we're moving into checking, into the best 9 month rate we can get tomorrow when this rolls
I think
over?
that's perfect.
All right, can we get a motion on that?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Can we get a second?
I'll be happy to second.
Thank you, Linda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes.
Very good.
All right. Sorry.
Okay, we do have a guest, and I'd love to get to him, but he's in the other meeting, frankly, so I don't think we technically should do that, that we should
Okay.
jump our agenda item, because we'd be bringing an agenda item from IDA to OCFC. So if you don't mind, I'd like to continue with the budget presentation,
Please.
and then we'll get Bruno on first in IDA, okay? All right, so if that's okay, look at my online version. The budget, Kelly, did you give them the next full copy too?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, it's the second page on the,
On the one you just gave us? Okay, great, thanks.
All
Okay,
right,
so everyone has this page, right? Yep, looks like you're all looking at it. Let me just pull up my electronic version. Okay, I'm just gonna go down item by item. All right, this is obviously based upon where we were off this last year, where we are year to date, and then because Paris ABO requires it, we have to enter 3 future years into Paris as well. So that's why you see 26, 27, 28 as well. But right now, we're just looking at 2025 proposed budget, that column. Going in application fees, that's 2 application fees, totaling $5,000. We have very little in the pipeline, but I'm going to, this is pure conjecture, but putting out 1 project closing with the closing fees of $125,000, that's what's in there. Interest earnings, this is where I may need your help. And by the way, this is just a draft, obviously. We're actually getting this out a month earlier than last year, in part because Anshin needed it early, part of our requirement to get it to the monitor. But it's helpful because we have another chance for another iteration here. So your feedback is definitely helpful here. The interest earnings, the $37,500, that assumes 1.25 million invested in CDs at 3%. That was my assumption.
yeah, I think you're
Not a
pretty
bad
close.
assumption.
Decent, right? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Close enough.
what
Okay,
percent, 3?
3,
3%.
same.
So,
Mhm.
that was weeks ago, by the way, so that was my best forecasting. All right, so total revenues of $167,500. Now moving down into expenses, under salaries, The salaries, does assume, and Mark taught me this last year, it assumes that we are giving a 5% raise to everyone, only because that's what we consider, and what I consider. It can be lower than that, it can be 0 raises, but as Mark has advised, it should, in the budget forecast, it should assume that we're giving them to everyone. Just like a little further down, under, you see health benefits, which is just a 10% increase over the previous year. Payroll, taxes, and fees are based upon the salaries, of course. The 401k retirement fees, $2,565. That assumes that all 3 full-time staff contribute 5%, which they're eligible to, and that we would match that. And they would do so at their highest possible salaries. So that's what that assumption is. That too, Mark, you were recommending, right? That we have to assume that everyone is going to contribute at the full boat, even if they don't. Okay, so moving down from that, deferred compensation. That assumes a 3.5% increase consistent with budgeted salary raises. CFO bookkeeping assumes a 15% increase in cost, certainly could be lower than that. Professional fees at $1,575, that assumes a 5% increase in cost. Annual audit, we have that coming in at the same rate for OCFC. I do have it going up for IDA. Next line is insurance. That's a 5% premium insurance I've estimated for $62.58. Below that, a little increase in conferences, and I have the detail here with me, but I've assumed going to the usual New York State EDC conferences and the New York State Innovation Conference, which Jeff and I are going to in October, and adding another conference, the Site Selectors Guild, which our partners at the partnership go to, and something that we've talked about being a part of. So I assume that we'd be doing all 3 of those conferences, all 4 total. Sorry, and it also includes mileage and my mileage stipend. So
That's a big jump
Yeah, I
from
was gonna say.
twenty
that's what we did.
twenty-four, and then 2025,
What?
6 and 7 is
Right.
much less.
yeah, we really didn't have much budgeted there for last year, but this also includes air travel for one of the amounts. So I'll tell you where I came up with. I came up with the usual amounts. This is under budgeted last year.
By how much? Do we know? Where are we?
Well, let's see, for the Albany conference is about $1,000, Cooperstown conference is about $1,200, New York State Innovation is $1,250, and Site Selectors Guild, about $1,400. That's a total of $4,850. There's also mileage stipend in there, mine, which is $275 a month, all other mileage for other staff, and then we have internal meals of $500, which we always leave for staff training, something like that.
So in 2024, did you attend, or did someone attend all 4 of those meetings?
No, just 2 of them.
Which 2? 12?
The 1,000 and the 1,200,
The one without airfare.
yes.
So you've got $2,600 in new money,
Correct,
right?
correct.
And this
Plus
is a
mileage and other bills.
proportion of the total IDA.
Correct, this is 84% of the total.
16.
16% of the total, I apologize, we're in OCFC, right?
It just sticks out like a sore thumb for me, that I forget about the 24, I'm just looking.
Yeah, that 8242.
Yeah, let me go to my other ones.
That's
That-
just,
now-
something
now-
doesn't-
So-
Now I'm feeling the same
So
way.
is the one with the airfare, maybe, so
There's a typo
it's
in
not
there.
scheduled in, that's what I was thinking. 'Cause it's not scheduled in.
$1,616.
Okay, because I was gonna say,
There was an extra number in that formula, I apologize.
so what's the number?
1616, yeah, that's a little more palatable.
well, I was just gonna ask, because then you're not attending it in the following year, I guess, because you
Yes.
wouldn't have had it, so 16.
It's
Okay.
1616
Makes sense.
For
The-
2025,
for 2025, correct.
and is that,
16% of the total, that is.
Does that change the total, are you gonna ask that? You gonna ask that, then does that change the total on the bottom as well, the 93, we're taking 6,000, whatever, all of that? Did that add up correctly?
Yeah, I'll tell you in a second.
wait, I need to just, can we just go back? Are we talking about a percentage or an actual dollar amount?
The 16?
Yeah.
We take our total expenses for certain line items, including conferences, fees. 84% is apportioned to IDA, the remaining 16% is OCFC.
Okay,
So this is 16% of the grand total of the conference and travel.
and the total of the conference and travel is 8,242?
16.
The
No,
total
no, is that the
is,
total amount
tell you what the
that they
total
get
is.
split?
The total is $10,100.
And of that, 16.16 is what needs to be charged to OCFC,
Correct.
and that number is?
That's $1,616.
So your new number, instead of 93,235, is 86,609.89.
Thank you.
And then I'll try and work that in below as well.
And I think I have an error in, boy, I'm seeing these now, just going through, Kelly just caught this, payroll taxes and fees. I had a formula error in that as well. That number is $1,995, more in line with, you see it, it matches kind of like a straight line increase.
And we're not voting on this today,
No,
so it can
this is
be
just for
cleaned up
feedback.
for next month.
This is the preliminary.
Yeah, so I would think
This is
the
why
time
we're
to make
doing this,
mistakes
to make
if you want
mistakes
to.
to catch these
high
things.
level and,
Definitely. I'll clean this up and you'll see this next month. Actually, I'll get it to you, much in advance, so in case you have any other feedback before the October meeting. Okay, so I'm back down. All right, so those are two errors. Apologize. Down to travel, 1616, office supplies and postage. I have that as a pretty decent increase because we are over budget this year. We're running ahead of budget. We're gonna try and trim it down, though we need the supplies that we need. But I need to increase it for next year, just what we're finding with supplies that we need, with all the printing we're doing, with all the, just everything. So that is an increase there. So you see total administrative costs of, my total here is now $90,474. I can even print these out freely so I can give you new copies. All right, down to legal.
I guess my question is, why do these go up for 1 year and then back down for the following 3 years? Is there some, you would think if it's a trend or a new level, they wouldn't drop back down to kind of the original
Yeah, I
level.
think I think that number, I think we would probably keep that more around, maybe going between 2250. I'm gonna go with that number.
Makes sense.
That's regularly high.
Are we
Okay.
on budget for legal for 2024?
We are. We are. Where is that statement?
It would be good if maybe before we do the final vote to have kind of updated, or at least September
So we can see
30th,
through.
2023.
You can do
What
an
was the 3 quarters?
actual, and then you can do
Yeah.
projected,
Mhm.
have a total number that we can compare
And then you'd have
against
to-
25.
Take a percentage for the rest of the year.
It's
So
kind of
this
hard
is part
to
of
see
where I'm
this.
coming from, Jeff, is that we have legal for OCFC as $5,000 actual so far. And we are online to be over budget.
Yes.
So that's why I didn't increase, but
Yeah, well,
I don't have a justification for it coming back down.
Was that,
I think I'm gonna have to look into that.
legal, was that because of our situation that we cleaned up this year? Was that a portion coming out of here?
Maybe that's why you built in more in the first place and see where we end up.
Kind of
Yeah,
blanking
because
on my
we-
rationale
we have to
there.
do-
I don't have a note in there, which is
we-
unusual. I have a note on every cell usually.
Yeah, because those didn't hit yet, right, correct? That expense didn't hit yet for any of the additional legal fees that we may incur?
It didn't hit yet for what we saw in August.
In our financials? Or did it?
The settlement that we came to.
Yes,
Right.
but that was an FC.
We didn't
We're not
do a
gonna portion it off?
Also, Gene's been doing work for the veteran and all that.
Yeah, I mean, we've been more active for sure with this.
yeah, that's true.
That is where a lot of it's coming from. I'm gonna have to do a little closer analysis.
Fair enough.
I'll come back with a real
But
explanation.
that's what this exercise is.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I think it's-
Absolutely.
So I would again, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I would request that when we get this next iteration of the budget proposal that we have, I hate adding more columns, maybe we turn the paper this way, but actual spent, what's the projection for the remainder of the time, so it will be for most likely November and December, with a total, and then we can compare against, because these numbers are like a kind of sort of moving target.
So you're saying include kind of a year-to-date column,
Yeah, what we've done so far,
even though it's gonna be only through 9 months?
but then you would do a projection of what you believe will be coming up. So
Okay.
any agreements,
Okay, I
any
did that last year.
contracts,
Projected the end of the
any
year.
other
Makes
things,
sense.
expenses.
Sure.
That we have concrete, and then we have a couple of estimated, but the estimation is small. It's only a few months.
And it would be based on what's actually happened.
Correct.
Absolutely, got it. Gotta keep moving.
And isn't this on our budget versus, isn't this the last column is here, isn't that, do we have that, some of that?
It is, but I think Linda's saying put it in
No, I
this
understand,
budget,
I
right?
understand.
Yeah,
Yes.
Well, I'm
That's
just
what
for my
I'm-
own mind right now. I'm
Yes.
just-
But-
Yes.
And then I'll make the
That's
projections
why
of
I have
October
some-
through December, is what Linda's suggesting as well. I project how the last 4 months will play out. Okay, got it.
Now, if I'm reading correctly, you spent 5,000
271.
for the year.
Yeah, I see that, and it was budgeted at 1,333, and so that is our proportionate share, this is actually what our cost is?
For legal?
Yeah.
Yes,
For
because
2024.
that's something that isn't shared. We have legal costs for OCFC and separate legal costs for IDA.
Okay, and for somebody who's, I
Yeah.
still think I'm new, perhaps an asterisk with what happened, why is it that high?
Yeah.
Because you took a jump from last year, and then you're anticipating a large reduction by half.
Yep.
Moving forward, so there's gotta be some assumptions.
Mhm.
Yep, I'll explain that. Great, okay, now I'm moving down to building expenses. 14,400 for rent and cams. And I will tell you that we are not currently paying for this room right here. I hope that's not a problem, Lisa. We are,
It's a good thing.
we were gonna split this off originally, and we're finding that it's very useful space right now. So while they are marketing this space tied to next door, I notified them that we're pretty confident we wanna keep this space. So I am budgeting for a higher rent
Okay.
amount. Kelly and I played with those numbers to estimate that. So it assumes an increased use of space and a modest increase for cams at 14.4. Utilities, 800,
Why so much lower?
because no Warwick this year. We are paying utilities in Warwick. The difference there. Repairs and renovations, I have that up mostly because of our branding change, so I have signage that we'll need, multiple signs, as well as paint. We'd like to paint this now, and if we end up renegotiating our lease because of additional space, we could extend it for a year or so, and they would replace all of the carpet in here if we did that,
Yeah.
which is something we could use. This is original from 20-something years, 2009. So yeah, 15 years. So I do have paint and signage in there. That's in that figure as well. Maintenance, this excludes Warwick also going forward, so that's why that comes down as well. Internet and telephones, we've actually done some slight reductions with some things. Some other things have gone up. So that is a number that we calculated based upon all the services that we subscribe to. That's pretty accurate. Total building expenses, 18,688. And down into agency support. We also lowered some things here. We have some cost efficiencies, I'll say. But otherwise, it's typical expenses with including some website enhancements. So obviously, we're rolling out the website. This is in case we decide to add something else. I've got a couple of bucks in there, as well as podcast support from acquisitions. Marketing and PR, basically coming down a little bit, and as you see, I'm projecting out. I'm trying to bring that number down a little bit. I'm hoping that we get through some of our public relations challenges, and in the next couple of years, we don't have to allocate quite as much to that need. So you see total expenses, my total here, $134,813, that's my new total. Revenues of $167,500 with a net surplus for 2025 of $32,686.98.
Bill, I
So
just,
legal is the big question, right? I'll work on that. Yes, Dean, sorry.
no, I just want to, we had said legal would be separate, right, okay? Or the IT and marketing, that's a portion, though, is that portion, or is that?
That also is a portion,
That's a
yes.
portion, okay.
Yes, yes, that's 16%.
Okay.
That entire agency support, or building expenses, because we share it.
Right,
Those are
building
all-
expenses, yes.
Those are all shared. I'm sorry, IT and
Agency
support, that is, yes, those two also. Agency
Okay,
support is
that's
also
fine,
shared
that's fine.
between the two.
Thank you.
Any other questions or feedback before I will come back obviously with a clean.
No, but we are in a bit of a time crunch. so
We are.
If it's not something really important, fix what you have to fix, and then
Exactly.
we'll do what we have to do.
Terrific, thank you.
All right, I don't think there's anything to vote on with this.
Nope.
Thank you for getting it early. With all that said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn, motion.
Second. Any discussion?
Aye.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Get out of here.
All right, let's go. Orange County funding is done.
You ready for us to flow into OCIDA? Okay, ready for you to open that?
All right. Welcome, everyone.
We should move it along the best we can
Yes.
and maybe
Let's see how late
minimize
it
the
is.
budget discussion.
Yep, I'll fly through that.
All right, so, welcome everybody, excuse me, to the Orange County Industrial Development Agency. Calling the meeting to order at 4:42. Excuse me, the Finance Committee meeting. Can I get a roll call, please, Bill?
Yes, Mark Ryan,
Present.
Jeffrey Christ,
Here.
Dean Tamburri,
Here.
Linda Muller.
Here.
Okay, 4 members present, staff, Bill Fioravanti and Kelly Riley, Jose Rojas, and our guest Lisa Coughlin here.
All right, proof of notice was sent.
In the packet, yes, sir.
Fantastic. First item, approving minutes from August 14th. Do I have a motion to approve?
So
Motion.
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Can we move to, move up one of our agenda items now since we have a guest with us?
Yes.
Then we can do that? Okay, thank you. So we have, we're ready for you, Bruno. We have Bruno Thruin from ramp.com. Hoping he's still at his desk. There he comes. Thanks for being so patient, Bruno. We appreciate it. So, just gonna give a quick introduction. Yeah, thank you. You'll recall that we did a demo for Bill.com, something we were considering. It was recommended by our CPA. Well, it was just, I think it was just chance that happened that Bruno and one of his colleagues, Grant, reached out to me, kind of cold calling me, presenting a similar package, a platform called ramp.com, but it's actually, it would be much less expensive for us. There are some significant monthly costs associated with Bill.com. Ramp has virtually none. So we did, the staff did a great demo with Bruno, with Bruno, and we wanted to present it here. Bruno, we are a little pressed for time, but we also, I don't want you to go too quickly. But if you can kind of show us the bill pay portion of the platform, and then we'll have a few questions for you after that.
No problem.
Great.
I'm concerned with my time. How much time do we have?
If we could do it in 8 minutes or less, our thing, that would be great. I know I wanted to slow you down today from our previous demo, but now I got to keep you at your same fast pace.
No problem. So, Ramp, we are a finance automation platform. We offer a bill pay feature built within our platform that integrates directly with QuickBooks Online. So what would happen is, basically, it's very similar to Bill.com. You would create bills in Ramp. We would then create bills in QuickBooks Online as well at the same time, automatically. When you can forward bills, you can upload bills directly into Ramp. So you can forward them to an email. You can upload them directly by dropping them down. We'll scan the bill in its entirety and we'll read it out and let you know what the line items are. So to make it simple, let's say the Staples bill comes in, we'll have the invoice, we have an invoice number, we have a whole bunch of text here, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but we'll pull it out, we'll tell you who your vendor contact is here, if you have ever paid them before in the past. We pull out the invoice number, the date of the invoice, and when the bill is due. Also parse out the description of the bill. And then we parse out all the line items, line by line, and you can categorize each line item into separate categories for accounting, which makes it very simple. You can also add line items if you needed to make changes, or if you needed to do something a little bit more complicated with, say, your tax bill portion. You can add line items as long as the invoice total is correct, good to go. You can then pay by ACH, by check, and if your vendor accepts a card, we can also pay by card, and we can schedule the payment to be accepted whenever, or sent whenever the bill is actually due in advance. And we have a whole approval flow, which is very customizable to make it very simple for your team to approve any single invoice, as well as allowing for a separation of duties. So if one person were to import a bill, that same person can also approve the bill. We would have someone else to do that. But once all the basic details are set up, you set up when the bill is meant to be paid, you have an approval flow, you continue, it would go to a draft section and the for approval section here at the top. The people who would need to approve the bill will be sent emails and notifications via a mobile app if needed. You can also send reminders additionally, and you'll see who the approvers are. Once everything is approved, it will look in this for payment tab up at the top, which will show as scheduled, and it'll tell you when the bill will be due. You can click on any bill at any time to see when everything is scheduled, all the bill details, who's approved the items, where to send it to, all of this pertinent data that you might need at any point in time. And then once the bill is actually paid, we'll mark it paid for you in QuickBooks as well, so there's no additional tasks that you have to do. It's very simple and easy. Once everything is set up, it's already done, right? Makes it super simple. One big thing that Bill mentioned was showing kind of an approval flow. So you have approvals for bills. We can set up a separation of duties. Right here, just click the box. And you can customize the approval flow however you might need. So so we'd say, hey, a bill is over $100. We need to require a department owner. We can set up different custom groups as well. Or you can even require certain people. We can also add just a straight up notification, which is very simple. We just notify, we can set up a group of people. We can say, hey, the finance approvers need to approve this. We'll be notified of this bill. That way everyone can kind of see how things work. That is our bill pay feature in a nutshell.
You see QuickBooks referenced many times throughout the screens there. It obviously fully integrates with QuickBooks.
Correct, yeah. It's a direct API integration with QuickBooks Online. It's a two-way sync. So you'll basically bring in your chart of accounts directly into RAMP or QuickBooks, and then everything will happen automatically for you. Again, when you create a bill in RAMP, you create a bill in QuickBooks. When the bill is paid, we pay the bill with market gain in QuickBooks.
Bruno, can you just confirm the fee structure? Are there no monthly fees whatsoever for this?
Correct. So the whole program is free to use. The reason that is we do have to use our corporate credit card program as well, and that's how we generate our revenue. So we are able to offer the additional platform for free.
And what do we have to use our corporate card for, Bruno? We would use the corporate card if we were to pay a bill using a credit card. It would have to be that card, or it has to be for all of our expenses. All our credit card purchases need to be using your card?
No.
Okay, just some of them.
Hey, as long as you use the card in some fashion, you can use it for travel, you can use it for office supplies, you can use it for paying bills, whatever you might need to use a corporate card for.
But you're not gonna call up and say, you haven't charged a minimum of $500 this month, so there's a fee to use the bill pay. Okay.
What's the annual fee on the card?
No, as long as you use the card, and there's no interest, it's a 30-day charge.
What's the annual fee on the card?
Bruno, is there an annual fee on the card?
There's no charge.
Okay.
Do you gain points on anything?
No.
So we don't get any points as any other card to get
You earn 1 day.
excuse me?
Go ahead, Bruno.
I'm sorry, you continued talking and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay.
You earn 1.5% cash back.
1.5% cash back plus. Okay.
What's the interest rate?
0.
Well, because it's like an Amex card. It's 30%.
Gotta pay it off. Okay, got it. Okay.
What are we talking about? Like, how many people would have to sign off on this? Would we receive emails, texts?
We create those
That's our
rules.
decisions.
What he was showing on one screen, you kind of build the decision trees. Oh, I'm sorry.
So, no, I was just gonna ask, is like, just give an example, we sit here, like, so if Linda had a question regarding an invoice, this is for us, really, right? So would she like put on there, and I'm like, oh, that was a great question, you know what I'm saying? So I saw that she asked some sort of question on there or not, or we're all gonna ask the same question, and then you have to answer it to get approved?
What about that, Bruno? Is there a way for when an approval request goes out to a member that they could ask a question based upon it through the platform? Or raise an issue?
there's an overview tab, and there's also activity, and you can leave comments. And any activity that happens, you'll be able to see it. You're gonna leave a question, comment, and anyone who's on the approval will be notified. Question.
And then, of course, we'd have to determine
No,
our own
no,
process,
no, I
right?
understand.
Using
I
the
was like,
system,
so-
how do we want to set this, how do we want it to work, and then we use the system to program that.
What's the decision-making process for taking this platform versus something different?
Frankly, we've had a lot of internal discussion. I think there was a little apprehension, and at one point, some of us were saying, oh, maybe we stick with the way we are, the way we're doing it now. I'd rather not do that. I want to make a move, frankly. I'd like to cut some of our
But
costs.
what does that process do? You decide that, or does the
So that's what I was
finance
gonna say.
committee?
I'd like to decide it, but I'd like your blessing. That's really what I'm
Have you
seeking.
guys looked at it? Have you kicked the tires?
We watched a demonstration.
Okay, is there a,
Yes.
is there a 2-week trial period? Is there some way that they can kick tires?
The fake
If you
accounts?
sign up- As long as you sign up, you can use the platform, you can file it out, it's free. So, I mean, if you don't like it.
And there's no penalty.
That's part of what we were
to that.
thinking, Jeff, too.
Yeah.
My answer is,
Yeah.
it's free. If it doesn't
Yeah.
work out,
No, that's
it's
good.
not gonna sabotage our systems or anything, so.
So when they say go ahead, pay, it comes out ACH at that point, correct?
Well, there are a few ways that you can pay,
Okay,
All
two
right.
ways you can pay.
but I guess
You're
just like
still
Bill.com.
evaluating, right? Because
Yes.
we're on a time crunch
We are.
here.
No, we are.
to be-
I'm still evaluating, but I wanted you to see the
Yeah,
demo.
thank you.
And I'll take any
Good.
feedback.
Okay,
I know we are tight.
okay.
Bruno, I'm sorry to rush you, but it's very helpful. Let's talk at the end of this week, okay?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Thank
patience.
you. Bruno.
Thanks for your
Thank you.
time. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay.
All right,
If
Phil.
this is a negative effect on the balance, gee,
Exactly.
have fun.
Exactly. Okay, great, terrific. Just what I was hoping for. Okay, proposed budget for OCIDA 2025. When you're ready, yeah, the top sheet there.
So we're going backwards. We
Yeah,
didn't do
that's fine.
financials yet, right?
Oh, we did, you're right. Let's do our financials. I'm sorry. I'm really rushing.
That's right.
Sorry.
All right,
It's
Bill.
okay with
I
me.
hate rush by skipping business.
Let's do financials, Bill.
I scared you.
Really, time really flew. Okay, I'm gonna go to profit and loss for OCIDA for August 2024 on page 5. I'm looking in the actual column in the August section there. There's $137, that's actually an insurance refund from our Cincinnati insurance overpayment, was that, Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, inadvertent overpayment.
No, because we took Warwick off of the policy.
Oh, right, that's right, okay. That's for that policy change. Next down there is our management fee, which you, again, oh no, I'm sorry. Next is subtenant rents. No, I'm not. Right, management fee income, that's from OCFC.
Yeah.
Apologies,
Correct.
reading my small notes here.
Mhm.
9763.
Mhm.
Just below that is interest earnings, of course, on our investments. So you have total income for August of 10,181.49. Now getting into expenses, admin expenses, bookkeeping is 1680, office supplies at 807, Paris reporting fees of 1,081, that's paying our consultant that helps us with that. And travel, lodging, and meals at $356.14. Now jumping into agency support expenses. Yeah, that was all mileage, by the way, that last item. IT support and audiovisual, $1348.99. Below that, marketing, our usual expense for the month, $52.75. Next is membership and events. That's our print subscriptions and me attending an OCP event, that's $203.96. Jumping into projects and programs expenses, local labor auditing at $66.69.50, mostly Legoland, and reporting fees,
It's all legal.
yeah, all Legoland. And then getting into payroll expenses, you see employee benefits, payroll taxes and salaries, all typically in line, $33,037. And then the last section, payroll expenses, building expenses, our building rent, utilities, internet and phones, all standard. And just below that, the $650, that's for our cleaning. So we have total expenses in August of $59,075.96 for a total loss of $48,894.49. That's our P&L for August. Next page, page 6. Again, cash and equivalents. Got a $5 million 12-month CD at Lakeland. just shy of $1.8 million T-bill for 9 months with JP Morgan, and just shy of a $2.5 million T-bill for 6 months with JP Morgan also. We also have our IDA operating account of just over $170,000. So total cash and investments of $9,538,342 in OCFC.
Have we made a decision on the 9/5/24 maturity date for JP Morgan T-bill? Did we decide that last
Yeah,
month?
it was 9 months and you wanted to go into Lakeland.
So that's done.
There you go.
Beautiful. So we just saved 9 minutes. Let's go.
Yes.
You wanna go item by item through the payables?
I would just raise the notable ones.
There really
That's
isn't
up to
any,
Mark.
everything
Those are
here is
standard.
pretty much standard. You see a check for the 2.5 million to go to, the
Yeah.
Lakeland Bank for that CD.
I mean, they all look relatively in line. I don't see anything that really jumps out, other than some increased legal fees, but we've already talked about that. All right, any questions on the payables?
No.
All right, let's move on.
Can we have a vote to recommend to the board accepting the financials and payables, approving the payables?
I'll make that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second, discussion.
Dean, Jeff?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So be it. So those two. So now you want to run through the budget real
Budget, let's
quick?
do it, yep, okay. Again, you'll see another version next month, and because we're so close on time, if you get a chance to look at this a little further, please, let's talk about this in between meetings. Okay, so based upon what's in the pipeline, I have $1.21 million in closing fees that are forecasted for next year. We do have a lot of things in the pipeline. Assuming most of those come through, then that's what the number would be. Application fees of $10,000. Jumping to interest earnings. Now that interest is based upon us potentially taking $3 million out of OCIDA funds for shovel ready, is what I'll call it, in one request.
So you're being exceptionally conservative. And
Exactly.
3%?
3%.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right, next is shovel ready reimbursement, $700,000. I'm trying to show the fact that we have to pay out for some shovel ready expenses, but the property owners are gonna be reimbursing us, so we have an inflow and outflow on that. Okay, so total revenues of $2,055,000. Jumping down to expenses, administrative, salaries assumes a 5% salary increase for the staff, as we talked about. Health benefits increasing 10%. Payroll taxes in line with salaries. 401k, again, assumes all 3 full-time staff contribute 5%, which is eligible for a match at their highest possible rates. Deferred compensation, we did throw that number in. I did talk to Mark about that. It doesn't assumes that we make another deferred compensation investment. Fiscal audit assumes a 15% increase. Insurance assumes a 5% increase in premiums. The bookkeeping is pretty much in line. Professional fees as well. Conferences, again, going up as we discussed. Office supplies also going up because of, I think I have to forecast it a little bit better in the future on OCFC, but on this one, it's right. You see it's adjusted, and then it stays at that level going forward, essentially. All right, now into program expenses. You see our monitor expense, our legal counsel, local labor monitoring, cost benefit analyses. These are all kind of typical of what we've been doing. And the shovel ready program assumes a $2 million expense item there. Keep going, rent and cams, again, increased based upon use of more space and a modest increase in cams. No Warwick this year, so the utilities are down. Repair and renovations, again, is paint and signage, the IDA share of that. Maintenance is a little bit lower because it excludes Warwick Accelerator going forward. Internet and telephones, also again, little increase, but you see that forecasted out. All right, keep going out. IT support, looking for these numbers to come down a little bit because of some efficiencies. Marketing and PR, again, it slowly starts to come down. Membership and events, still pretty much in line. And training and education, we were looking to do another training like the successful one we had here. It was kind of an IDA soup to nuts for Marty and Kelly. We're looking to continue that. So total expenses of $2,974,146.80 with a net loss of $919,147. But of course, that loss is us essentially using our fund balance to do shovel-ready activities.
Shovel ready and
2025.
monitor.
And the monitor, correct. That's it for now. If anyone
That's
has
good.
any feedback now or later, provide it, and I'll come up with a revised version in October, all right?
Thank you.
That's everything.
Nothing really to discuss on that or approve.
Really, yep,
Thank you again for getting it early.
sure.
And if there's nothing else to talk about, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Someone,
Second.
Second, discussion.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?